Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm reacting to Where is Real Happiness from Swami Anubhavananda. So, I would assume I know he's a follower of Advaita Vedanta. I, I can't remember what I said he was. I believe he's more about meditation. A guru more specifically for meditation, so a Raja Yoga. I believe he's a Raja Yoga teacher in a sense, strongly focused on that. Or at least the higher focus is in that as opposed to say karma and all these other things. I can't remember. And again, we talked about like Acharya Prashant's more is Jnana Yoga, more of what you are not. Swami Sarvapriyananda seems to be a I'm not sure what Swami Sarvapriyananda is more. Obviously, they're all the teachers of a little bit of everything, but it's you can tell that they're a little bit more focused on something, which is pretty interesting. Especially if you know which path you wish to follow, then it's still great to listen to all of them because obviously we do a little bit of all the paths, but you can also watch the one that kind of has the focus that's more on the path that you like. So, anyways, let's go and get started. Where is happiness?
कर्मोदये कर्मफलानुरागाः तत्रानुयान्ति न तरन्ति मृत्युं सदर्थयोग अनवगमात् समन्तात् प्रवर्तते भोगयोगेन देहि. So when we are engaged in karma, karma is done to get something. Naturally, you will get it and you will continue. And then again and again the same thing repeated. Because of this, one is not able to live as the divine being and continues suffering again and again. Up to here we are saying. Now in the 10th mantra the teacher say, Tadvai mahamohanam indriyanam mithyartha yogisya gitirhi nityam mithyartha yoga bhi hata antaratma smaran upasne vishayan samantan. Tadvai mahamohanam indriyanam. See? So once we start getting indulgent, then Mahamoha. Mahamoha is extreme delusion. Extreme delusion is addiction. We are unable to live without certain things. Mahamohanam indriyanam, because we become victims or the slave of our own senses.
Can't live without things. I don't. So there's a couple of ways I interpret that. There is the things that you obviously cannot live without. Generally speaking, shelter because you need to be sheltered from the elements, food and water, clean water, of course. These are genuine things that we can live without. But in terms of addiction, whatever it is that you're addicted to is what you can't live without as well. Even though you can genuinely live without it, but because of the addiction of it, that you can't live without it, and then you become. I prefer the slave of that addiction, which is essentially your senses. It's very interesting, I guess, the way of putting it, because we never think of addiction as senses, because it's I don't know how we see or interpret addiction. We just when there's addiction, we think of just people being addicted to it. There's no real attachment to sensory to it, but it's obviously sensory. Whether it be a chemical sensory, of course, like whether it be dopamine in their brain or whatever the case may be.
Why? Mithyartha yoga. We take the worldly things and beings as very real. And then start repeating it again and again. Now here one important point. I eat something, I like it, I enjoy it. Can I deny that happiness? I can't deny. Then how do you say that it is wrong? How can we not get attached to these worldly things? Only think, there is no other. You have to have a think tank. Think properly.
How can you get over this? And this is again, this is my method. It's understanding. Can you afford it? No, you cannot. So if you understand that you can't afford it, then you should not get it. It's It seems very logical. It seems very easy. It's really not, but it can help, and it can get some people to start thinking like that, doing those actions. Or can I get it right now? It's like either I can't afford it, it's too far away, don't have enough gas, I can't get someone to drive me there, they're out of stock. Just things like this to put something in the context within reason that you can deny it. Hopefully, I guess I never really elaborate on understanding other than just merely saying understanding it. But yes, understanding in such a sense that there's a reason why you cannot get to it, and you need to accept that reality. And that's kind of the hardest part about just anything in general. When you detach yourself from something, I'm not even going that far to detach, but more along the lines of the reason why you cannot get it at that moment. So, and within reason or logic to that, basically, obviously, if you have bills to pay and you can't afford to get that, you need to understand that you still can get some more of it. You can still be addicted to it, but you cannot get some right now. So mine is not necessarily it's a step in terms of hopefully the right direction for someone, as in complete detachment. But at the very least, it's a step in that direction where your drive is not overriding your logical senses, I guess you could say. That the reason why you can't get something is because there is a reason behind it. And therefore, you hopefully with that reason is good enough for you to say, okay, I will not get it today. That's worked on me many a times, and I can only hope that that can work on some people. It's not going to work on everyone, but if it works for you, that's great. It's a way of slow detachment of things, potentially, if you continue to just reason your way out of certain things. I've always wanted to play video games when I was younger, and there was a place where you can actually rent them, where you can give them a little bit of money and they'll let you play for it for like 24 hours. In some ways that I've reasoned myself out of renting those video games, it's like it's later on in the day, it's like 6 o'clock, and I have to return this back the next day. I don't have enough time to play this game, so it's not worth the money to rent it now because it's so late in the day. Maybe if we got there earlier, I get more time to play it because more of the day is still available. So that's one way of reasoning out of something that I want to do, but makes sense to me.
When we discover happiness in indulgence, exactly what is happening. When I have given value and importance to anything, that value and importance is put together, is called a desire. Desire is agitation, disturbance in the mind. I want that, I want that, I want that. And then I get it. What is the result? Desire is quieted.
Mm.
So where from the happiness is coming? Quietening of the desire, or getting the objects from there happiness is coming?
Can we say both? I have a feeling it's going to say quieting of the object, which does make sense though, because there's this. When you think about it, it's this. Hold on, I'm going to reach for something. There's this thing, this is desire for something, and you want it. So this desire is like I want, I want, I want, and when you finally get it, that I want is disappeared. But there is still, I believe, there is still a bit of happiness to that, because once you have it, there's still that euphoria or this dopamine hit that you have that will last a little bit, not very long, but for a little bit after you get it. I have a feeling it's going to say just the quieting of the desire.
Now, next step. If happiness was in a particular object, for example, my black tea. When I don't get black tea in the morning, I am agitated, disturbed. Then I get a black cup of tea. So happiness has come from black tea. If black tea is giving happiness, then everybody should be happy by taking a cup of black tea. But some people want only coffee. I don't like tea. So what can you do? But our experience we can't deny. Therefore, happiness is mind that is free from agitations born out of desire. Undisturbed mind is happiness. Disturbed mind is samsara.
I wouldn't say happiness though. I guess because of the definition of happiness, and this is the same thing with bliss as well. That's used in Advaita Vedanta. I wouldn't use necessarily the word bliss. But then again, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I wouldn't doubt there's a different perspective to look at this that I'm just completely missing. And the reason why I say happiness is because clearly the example he gave is by receiving something, you receive happiness. So it's that dopamine hit. Whenever you receive something that you want, you get a hit of dopamine. That's essentially what happiness is in the material world, mind you. So the undisturbed mind is it's not it's not a mind that is getting hit with dopamine at all. It's a clear mind, no chemicals, in a sense, no chemicals, like no emotional chemicals, not sadness, not wants, not desires, not dopamine hits, not this, yeah, essentially that. No sorrows, no wanting, no desires, no dopamine hit. It's just a clear mind. That is not happiness, in my opinion. That is contentment. And this is what I've always said, but I do wonder if I am just missing something there. Contentment is not sadness nor happiness, but it's a very pleasant. I think pleasant would be a good word because it's a very pleasant mind to be in. You may not be happy, but you're not sad either.
So when a wise man indulges in the worldly things, his experience is what? That
Pleasant.
I have sprinkled my happiness on that object and I am leaking my own happiness.
Weird way to say it,
See the
but
difference? So when we come to discover this, that the real happiness is not in the objects. It is when our mind is liberated from the desire for that object, that is the real bliss. Now,
I'll counter a little bit. Not necessarily counter. My experience, I guess. I still enjoy the bliss. I'll try to use the words he used. The bliss or the happiness of this world. So for example, eating chocolate, or getting a new phone, or getting a new gadget, or getting a new pen so I can write. I write smooth and fantastic on pieces of paper. Just things that are temporary happiness in this world. I understand that these are temporary happiness, but I still can't enjoy these temporary happiness and understand that it will go away. And I will not be sad after the fact because I understand that it's a temporary happiness. It's not meant to last. So when I have this understanding about temporary happiness, which I've learned from Advaita Vedanta, honestly, I mean, even though we experience temporary happiness every day, we're just so unaware of it. And Advaita Vedanta has made me very much aware. And don't get me wrong, my teacher in college, which taught me about life as suffering, has taught me. Actually, maybe she did more so because she started it. And Advaita Vedanta and watching his videos has helped me understand it so much more. That I can enjoy the temporary happiness of this world without suffering the side effect, I guess you could say, of that temporary happiness. Like, you eat an ice cream, and then when you're out, you're like, oh my gosh, I want more. I don't, oh man, I want more, but there's no more, so that's the end of that. I could get more. I shouldn't, but I could. But I won't. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe. Things like that, where I understand that I could always get more if I want. I understand that I shouldn't, but maybe putting it off till tomorrow might be okay. But at the same time, I'm not suffering from that decision making because I understand my my kind of conflict inside. It's not really a conflict; it's just deciding when, if I ever decide at all. But I don't suffer from the decision making. I don't suffer that it's over with because I understand it's going to be over with. I understand it's temporary. And this is what I mean by understanding as well. I'm giving lots of examples as I can so that hopefully you can understand what I'm trying to say.
to make this point, I'll give an example. A good friend of mine, elderly man, he met me on the airport and very old like me. At that time I was young. So he is now 98.
Whew.
Recently, I sent him the greetings. So
Wow.
he told me, Swamiji, I have come to tell you some good news. I said, are you getting married again? He said, no, no, no. I had done those mistakes 3 times. I don't want to repeat it. Then I have given up smoking. What is great about it? I never smoked. He said, then what you can understand? Then you make me understand. He said, I have been smoking for 60 years.
Whew.
60.
Wow.
And now you are given up. You are
He started when he was 38.
happy or miserable. Of course, I am happy. I said, very good. I got one guru in you. What is the guru? How I am your guru? I said, listen, you smoke for 60 years. You got some happiness. Yes. Suppose that happiness is X unit, X units. Now you are given up smoking. Now also you are happy. If you want to compare these two happinesses, happiness through indulgence and happiness through renunciation, which is weight wise. He says, Swamiji, now I am million times happy than when I was smoking and becoming happy. Conclusion, happiness is not in indulgence, happiness is in withdrawal. This is spiritual practice. Simple.
Hmm. Happiness is in withdrawal. I'm trying to think of this in a couple of different perspectives and try to see if I can't think of anything that could be wise to say. I mean, when you think about it from a normal perspective, that this person was clearly addicted to to smoking, and it is considered to be a bad habit, that there's a reason why he is happy that he's removed from it, because he's no longer a slave to the smoking. He no longer has to buy it. Now he can do without this addiction. He doesn't have to. Oh my gosh, I need to smoke something right now. I have to do that ever so often, and then if he runs out of packs, he's like, oh my gosh, I gotta go buy some right now. I'm twitching. He's no longer tied to that. Now, someone could literally suffer smoking and still be tied to it. It's like, I hate smoking, but I'm addicted to it. So suffering, and there's no temporary bliss or temporary happiness from the smoking part. It's all suffering, and he's addicted to it. So he's not only is he suffering, but he's suffering from the addiction of it as well. Now it's not like someone eating, like, in the same perspective of the smoking, someone enjoys smokes, like, oh my gosh, you're getting the dopamine hit, but it's also bad for them. They're suffering for it, but they're also enjoying it. They're getting something good, but also they're suffering for it by destroying, essentially, kind of, I won't say destroying their body, but kind of slowly destroying their body. So it's like a double whammy there, where they don't enjoy smoking anymore, but they're addicted to it. I guess technically they shouldn't be. They should enjoy it, because that's what addiction is. Addiction is just doing something that you enjoy. But yeah, I guess I can't really think of anything to say about that last part, the withdrawal. But I guess outside of the sheer fact that I guess another way of looking at the withdrawal would be the detachment of worldly things. So withdrawal from the worldly things, and the withdrawal that he had here was the cigarette smoking. The withdrawal of a worldly thing has made him happy, and I guess this is something that we all kinda should strive for, is detachment from worldly desires. And that's for me. I don't desire. I mean, I don't think a desire. One desire is a bit strong. Desire is a bit of a strong word. But there are things, of course, that I want, but I don't desire them. I want something, but that doesn't mean I have to get it. So I guess there's where I think I draw the line in terms of the difference between wanting something and the desire for something. When you desire something, you want it at all costs. Whereas you want something, you can get it, Does it have to be now, or maybe you never get it? Maybe you never get the want that you want. It's like, well, I wanted it, but I thought about it, and I don't want it anymore. Or it's like, I wanted it, but I never had enough money, so it's just sitting in my want list. Or if you desire something like an addiction, addiction is very much a very strong desire. Maybe the right definition of a desire to a degree. So I just want to understand that there's nothing, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with wanting something so long as it doesn't turn to a desire for it. You can want all you want, and so long as you don't suffer from it, nothing wrong with it. There's many things I want, like good sleep, but I'll be fine. So anyway, that's my reaction to Where is Real Happiness? So I'm Anubhavananda. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, the side, and below. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next vid.